Hello. This is going to be kind of my first air quotes day of a Tactician Crossbow Bleed character. Kind of continuing from the previous videos from my Titan that I was trying to work on. I wanted to give Tactician a shot to see if it was a little bit easier to pull it off. I'm not going to go super into depth about like this decisions that I've gone through so far because I'm still kind of thinking as I go. But some things have carried over from the previous builds. So at least when it comes to pathing, there are some differences. So at least for right now, I'm not pathing over here to pick up these magnitude nodes. Although I think they can be decent because you also get a jewel socket if you go up like this. But that's a lot of travel to get there. And is it really worth, that many points just to get there? Maybe for the jewel socket alone. But for right now, I'm kind of pathing over in the central area. Because I'm Tactician, I went up for pin build up first, and pin is really strong. Then I went for solid plan a couple hours ago once I got Third Ascendancy done. Because I'm able to pin, I'm now able to take advantage of this. So I break armor when I pin a target initially. I help break increased armor, which it's not that much. Eventually, I think I'm going to be pathing through here, so pin duration. This crit chance node, I think maybe averages out to more DPS if I crit with a bleed. This evade portion is kind of decent. Pin duration, and then increased attack damage against maimed enemies. While an enemy can be maimed after being unpinned, they can also be maimed through artillery ballista. So mostly just for like boss DPS. I path over here because I have the inserting command. I picked up the surrounded nodes, not the defensive ones just yet. And then I path down to here for these attributes, mostly for being able to use things like charge regulation because it requires int. Because otherwise, if I don't have these and some int on the tree, I'm pretty stupid. I've picked up these pin nodes here. This is probably the biggest one, is that all I need to do is pin a target, and any bleed that I apply after the fact, it's immediately aggravated, which is huge. Because aggravating a bleed is 100% extra damage of that bleed. So then I pathed kind of over in this area. I don't really know if I need this skill speed. I'm still playing around with it. As far as the tree goes, again, like I mentioned, maybe this is an area that I go. Maybe I pick up these nodes here. Reduce penalty while moving. I was thinking of anointing momentum. Kind of just looking at anything that's like magnitude of ailments. Jewel socket. With gear, I'm just kind of using remnants from other builds. So just, decent pair of boots. I picked these up initially from trade. I slammed preserved collarbone, preserved rib to get this lightning damage, which kind of helps with the crossbow. Rithostus coil, just some generic roll. Ring with damage, resist. Ring with damage and resist. Resist amulet. Resist chest. Constricting commands. And then I've been working on this for a while. It's just taking a lot of fucking currency because I need Omen of Lights, where I can determine deterministically annul off that percent fizz roll at the bottom, but I'm trying to get a higher version of that. So T2, T1. One change though, I don't know why I didn't even consider this when I was playing my Titan, of getting like just any crossbow with an exceptional tag at the front. So that means either high quality, like higher than 20%, 3 sockets naturally without corruption, or both. One thing that I'm playing around with is this chance to bleed soul cores, because this saves like both a support gem, right, for 100% chance to bleed, or just pathing on the tree. So with these 4, for a total of 45% chance to bleed just naturally, on top of 5% here, 10% here, and then 5% here, I was sitting at 92% with these chance to inflict ailments, and then these 3. So the only thing I needed to go out of my way for to get 100% chance to bleed is this node right here. That's actually, I think, kind of good. It's kind of a trade-off. Like, how do you want to bleed? Do you want to use the support gem? Do you want to do like this route, the soul cores, or do you want to just like path to every living chance to bleed node on the tree? Pick your poison. Because of that, I'm just going to showcase like a 5-link setup of what this looks like. But I have reload speed, which isn't necessarily bleed damage. This is projectile acceleration for projectile speed, which I think is really important. Brutality, and again, this is important because of Siege Cascade. So when I fire, the time that the bolt is in the air and it hits the ground is a lot shorter. So it's easier to hit targets. But it does give damage because of this support gem. Brutality 3, increase area of effect, just to help with clear, because again, I'm thinking that this will just be a clear kill. Armor piercing rounds, I'm kind of just using this as like a form of armor break. And then high velocity rounds, I'm using this as like a riven armor thing. Artillery ballista, I have urgent totems, brutality, projectile acceleration again, armor break, just to help break armor faster, mostly bosses. And then I'm trying to play around with fragmentation rounds, brutality 3, cog effect, and acceleration on fragment rounds. So the cone, the cone width is pretty small, but it does go kind of far, so I don't need to be like point blank. And because I'm Tactician and I have 50% reduced spirit reservation, I can take effect of a shitload of reservation. So War Banner, charge regulation, clarity, why not? Vitality, why not? Herald of Blood. I honestly need to put like poison in here. And then Bursting Plague. And then Combat Frenzy. I get a Frenzy Charge every time I pin a target. With this support gem, I have a chance to get an additional Frenzy Charge. And I have a chance to get a Power Charge or Endurance Charge. And then I have Accuracy. But because I get the Frenzy Charge, it makes it so I get, with charge regulation, at least more skill speed. So, more attack speed, more reload speed, feels good. So I want to talk about real quick Pin, because I think Pin so far is feeling way better than Stun ever did. So on bosses right now, I'm able to build Pin extremely fucking fast. Even though it lasts like 3 seconds by default. Pretty sure? Yeah, 3 seconds. I can just build this pin up almost instantly again, which is really nice. Because with stun, I was taking a shitload of stun build up nodes on the tree, like this over here on my Titan. Don't need it. That's why I'm considering getting this duration, if anything. 'Cause I don't feel like I need any more pin buildup than I do, just because of artillery ballista. This thing builds pin like nobody's other. Quality also helps with it because it gives even more like pinning damage. So it's a total of 800% more pinning. And it hits 4 times in a salvo. Feels really nice. Trying to think of. I guess I could talk about leveling, or how I was leveling. I wanted to try some things out, which gave me some ideas for future builds with crossbows. Let me find the jewel real quick. So, in the beginning of POE 2's launch, there was this stat that existed here, where projectiles have a chance to chain an additional time from terrain. Negligible, whatever. But in this patch, they actually added a lot of access on the tree and through jewels. So on the jewels, you can get up to 5% chance to chain an additional time. And then just in the mercenary section, right? You have 10% here. You have 2 5% nodes, so 20. And then you have 10% chance, so that's 30. Up here, over in this ranger area, which I think is new, maybe it's not. You have 35, and then this goes up to 50. So on the tree, you can get 50% chance to chain. There's a support gem, which they added in this patch as well. Ricochet 2. So it just gives you 50% chance to chain additional time. So you can either go this route, or you could probably go like this route, getting additional chance to chain on jewels. But the way it works is you shoot a target, and that projectile, if it can pierce, it will go through the target, hit collision, like an object, and then shoot back towards an enemy, which is kind of like doubling your damage. I was using Fragmentation Rounds when I was trying it out. I think it served its purpose because it has the ability to pierce naturally, but I think you could get a lot more damage with other things. And I think that's the only way this more projectile damage after piercing makes any form of sense. Where with high velocity rounds, you would shoot it, it would just ping pong between terrain. That seemed kind of okay. I think it's mostly for bossing, if anything. But it did give me an idea for potentially a lightning crossbow setup. So you use galvanic shards for clear, and then you have your plasma blast to apply shock on a boss, and then you can do shock burst rounds. And if you at least have a 100% chance to pierce, right? So you hit the target once, it does the initial hit, it does the AoE, and then once it pierces, hits terrain, goes back into the boss, you then get all of that again. So that's what I'm cooking my brain as like a future prospect. But at least for now, I guess I can showcase kind of what it feels like so far on Tactician. I'm only level 80, so I still have some points that I can navigate on the tree. And again, I don't know if any of this is final or, you know, what I'm going to be doing. But gotta just basic bitch tier 15. I'll slot it in. Find a boss somewhere. Do this one. With Siege Cascade, it also feels really nice being able to have local attack speed on your crossbow. Not only for the attack per second, but the reload time. It makes using the skill feel that much better because it naturally has a 75% of base attack speed, so it's kind of slow. And again, this is only with 5 link, not that much damage setup. In previous builds, I was also using Defy 2 to make it so I didn't have to worry about mana. But on my gloves, I actually chose to get Mana Leech instead. Mana Leech felt really nice. Of course, this guy has changeability. Oh, nuts. I have 8% chance, or 8% leech for mana. That feels more than enough to sustain firing crossbow shots. It's also nice because it frees up another skill slot, or support gem slot. Nice. What else? If you're leveling just, I think, any crossbow skill in general, the biggest damage increase that you will ever get, sounds stupid, is with crossbow upgrades. I can't tell you how much of a DPS upgrade I went from my previous crossbow to this endgame one that I'm working on. After trying so many different, like, support gem setup changes, for whatever reason, weapons in POE 2 just give an astronomical amount of character power compared to literally everything else. So, I would definitely stick to trying to look for crossbow upgrades whenever you can. I also need to get a ring with life leech, I think. Help sustain a little bit. I have no idea where the boss is on this map. Like, I'm going in fucking circles. So, I mean, it's not that good of a bleed, to be honest. It's something.
Gotta stay quick.
So it's mostly just trying to figure out how to scale the bleed. Single target. Still kind of the same problem, but I think I have some room to try some shit out. So I think that's what I'll be doing. Getting levels, trying to see if there's a way to scale a bleed for single target. Not super cringe to do it, but yeah, that's pretty much been it for this video. I'll come back with a day 2 once I feel like I've made decent progress and like upgrades and all that. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Take care.